Hello guys and welcome to the channel. Today we're doing a bit of a different video than the usual. We will be doing a game review of Fortnite Battle Royale. I know, but you guys can hear my thoughts on it and see what I think about it. Let's get right into it. Alrighty, so before we start the video, I'm gonna give you guys just a tad of backstory. I started playing Fortnite in Season 7. I played avidly through Season 9 and to the end of 10. And then I stopped playing for maybe 6 months, 5 months, and recently I've started playing again. It's worth noting that when I first started playing Fortnite, I was on Xbox, aka console, and when I started up again, I switched to PC. And that's what I'm playing at the moment. In my opinion, since Season 8, Fortnite has been slowly, I take that back, quickly going downhill. But with Season 3 here, I think it's finally starting to climb back up that big mountain. Fortnite is definitely much more fun with friends. If you're playing Fortnite alone or doing solos, it feels pretty dull. I have to admit though, when you're playing with friends, it can be quite fun, but it's super annoying that every single player is a sweat now. I feel like every fight I get into, it's against a sweaty soccer skin who's floor wall ramping while spraying me. How is that even possible? And the saddest part of it all is that the only way to combat a sweat is to become a sweat yourself. So there's a downward spiral of sweating on people, and those people becoming sweats, and they sweat on other people, and before you know it, people are wearing sweatbands on their ears. It's terrible. On a different note though, I do really like the mythic bosses and weapons. I think they add some exciting spice to the game. The mythic bosses also add incentives to drop where people wouldn't normally drop, which I find pretty cool. Type in the comments, what is your favorite mythic weapon? Now, we're gonna talk a tad about a pretty controversial thing in the Fortnite community, the charge shotgun. So in my opinion, the charge shotgun is by no means a bad weapon. I think it can be a little overpowered in some situations, but that's balanced out by the fact that in other situations, it can be quite hard to use. So another thing I like about Season 3, or recent Season 3, is that they added back in LTMs, which is super cool. I like One Shot, the Misty one, whatever it's called, where the whole map's covered in fog, high explosives, the shotgun only one. I really think it's gonna make the game much more exciting again, and this has just shot them up the mountain. This has made Fortnite all the more fun, and I'm really enjoying it. To be honest, guys, I am by no means a great Fortnite player, but I definitely feel like I've been improving this season, especially with my discovery of box fights and creative. And now that I can actually kind of compete with a lot of the sweats that get into my match, I feel like the game feels more fair. I know earlier in the video I said the only way to combat a sweat is to become a sweat, which I feel is true. And I kind of made it seem like being a sweat is bad. And I don't really like sweats because they go into a match and just sweat on everyone who's trying to have fun. But if you sweat on another sweat and then just have fun for the rest of the match, I think that's okay. And now then when I run into sweats, I can sweat back at them. I actually have a chance, which is really nice. Speaking of sweats, try to figure out this riddle, guys. They are always in your match, they come in great numbers, they destroy many players, and their only goal is to plunder. I'm gonna give you guys 5 seconds to figure that out. Alrighty, if you didn't get it, they are marauders. And I made that little rhyme up myself, so don't judge it. But if you didn't get it, my point is that marauders are overpowered. I'll run into them in solos and just absolutely get destroyed. A, they have one of every weapon. A sniper, a shotgun person, an AR person. They have stink bombs, they have everything. And B, there are so many of them. Left and right, they're falling down. I was once double teamed by 2 different sets of marauders. Now I get they add some more action, let's say, to the game, but maybe Epic you can make it so they don't spawn every 10 meters. That might be a little bit nice. But all jokes aside, I do think marauders are pretty overpowered, but they're not the worst thing. And since we're on the topic of overpowered things, let's talk about sharks. Oh my gee, golly, god, yeah. Sharks are just beasts of the water. I can't talk, I'm so scared. If I see a shark in a match, I run. Those things destroy people, especially the mythic ones, and they won't leave you alone. If you build while they're jumping out at you, guess what? They destroy the builds and take you down. See, I had to learn my lessons with sharks the hard way. I can't tell you just how many times Larry has killed me. And the worst part is, it's so scary when a shark kills you. I'll be walking along, and suddenly this just huge mass comes out from the water, comes onto me, and that's the end of my game. And I'll like jolt back from my keyboard and I'll hit it. What just happened? And I'll see that shark just going back into the water, nice and slow, like nothing ever happened. Get my revenge. Locations is our next topic. So in my opinion, Season 3 has some pretty decent locations. Nothing super crazy, but they're different from last season, so I'm okay with that. I'll say this, the map itself has changed a lot, I feel like, but the locations are still pretty much the same. I mean, I know a lot of them are underwater or floating or whatever it may be, but I still wish Epic had maybe changed things up a tad more. That being said, I still think the locations are pretty solid this season. You know, Caddy Corner coming in. We still have Pleasant, Retail, all the mythic boss places, the new Authority. I think it's pretty okay. Pretty okay, is that a thing? Yeah, okay. Huh? Yeah, it's pretty okay. Alright, so now we're gonna talk about weapons this season. I know we already briefly talked about the charged shotgun, but I think it's important to talk about just the overall grade of the weapon. So as a lot of you know, they removed the pump, kept the attack, put in the charge. I think I prefer the pump over the charge, but it's not a huge loss for me. Burst AR is in there, the AR is in there. There hasn't really been any big weapon changes since last season. We have the mythic weapons, as we talked about earlier. I think those are super cool. And we have the SMGs. I think the LTMs, though, are really broadening the weapons that are able to be used because they're bringing back a lot of vaulted weapons for certain things. So, overall, I think I'd give the weapons this season like a 7 out of 10. Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, we have a big one coming up, guys. Here are my thoughts on the Season 3, Chapter 2 Battle Pass. I actually think this season's Battle Pass is pretty cool. I like that they added 2 Tier 100 skins, and in my opinion, almost all of the Battle Pass skins look pretty cool this season. I also think it's really cool that Fortnite did a thing with DC, and for those of you guys who don't know what I'm talking about, Fortnite added Aquaman to this season's Battle Pass, which is super cool. I do like Kit. I like the mechanic girl, whatever her name is. And overall, I'd give this season's Battle Pass maybe an 8 out of 10. Yeah, I think an 8 out of 10 would probably work. And in addition, the customizable umbrella is, you gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Epic did something like that last season with that skin where you could customize her. But I think this umbrella is a really interesting way to do it. Before we go any further with the video, please make sure to like and subscribe if you are enjoying. It really helps out and just means a lot to me. Alright, let's get on with it. I thought the Season 3 event was actually super cool, where the agency was surrounded in light and the storm was pushed back, and then we went up in that bunker with Jonesy all dressed up in a suit and the henchmen. I thought that was all super cool. And then when the storm turned water, that just blew me out of my socks, out of my shoes. I've never seen anything like that, and it was really cool those like 2 days or however long it was when the storm stayed water. The physics, all that kind of stuff, it was super cool to see, just feel it. Okay, so now we're gonna be judging this season on how memeable it is. And if you have never heard the word memeable, because it probably is not in the dictionary, today we are defining memeable as, let's think. What's a good definition? Possible for memeing. How about that? If this season is memeable, that means it's good for memeing. If it's not memeable, it means it's bad for memeing. There we go. I actually think this season is pretty decent for memeing with the whole Kit emotes. There have been a lot of glitches this season that have made for good memes. Dumpsters, porta potties, secret passages, new skins that look like trees. sharks. This season has also been pretty good for challenges. So out of content creation, or in terms of content creation, I definitely give this season like a solid 8 out of 10. For YouTubers who do challenges, like Mr. Fresh Asian, say this is a great season because you can do shark loot only, island loot only, tower loot only, whatever it may be. And this season has a ton of things like that. So I would definitely call this season memeable. In terms of transportation, I think this season is doing okay. Nothing crazy, but nothing too bad. They have helicopters, which are cool, like planes from season 7. They have boats, and there's a ton of water, which is great for mobility. If they do add cars, that would be super cool. So overall, taking everything I've said before into consideration, I would rate Fortnite Battle Royale Season 3 Chapter 2, drumroll please, a 7.5 out of 10. So I think Fortnite Season 3 is actually looking pretty good. It's a fun season, lots of new things going on, and I really like it. There are a few things that feel a little too overpowered, but that's okay, and it's balanced out by other good qualities of the game. And with that, thank you guys so much for watching the whole entire video. I really appreciate it, and it means a lot to me. Once again, make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Turn on post notifications so you never miss another video. If you guys like this, I might do more Fortnite. Up to you. Make sure to put in the comments what you want to see, and I will see you guys in the